Hello, welcome to News Network Live. Today we are going to discuss a very controversial topic, the ad created by Pepsi featuring Kendall Jenner, which was quickly pulled from Pepsi's official channel and website. To attain a further understanding of the events that have occurred, we invite two guest speakers to share their insights. First, we have Jake, the head of Pepsi's marketing department and the man guilty of creating the ad. Hello, Jake.
Hi, thanks. Nice to meet you, and I'm not guilty of anything.
And our second guest speaker is a professional and straightforward critic of advertising, Frank. He has helped extensively in the development of ads for many large companies. Hello, Frank. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Okay, before we begin discussing controversy, I think it is best to introduce the ad itself. Jake, would you be willing to give a brief summary of what occurred in the advertisement?
Yes, of course. In the ad, we have a very diverse group of people gather on the streets to protest for peace and love. Then, Kendall Jenner becomes involved in the protest and hands a white police officer a Pepsi as a significant symbol of unity and harmony between humans of many races. That is the basic premise of the ad.
Yes, it is very basic, to the point of naivety.
Frank, please don't interrupt. You'll be given a turn to speak.
Right, sorry.
So, Jake, would you be willing to share some insight on how you came upon this idea?
Yeah, I was interested in making the ad follow a theme that we have been consistently using at Pepsi, the theme of community. Our main goal was to associate Pepsi with building a harmonious community and unifying people from all walks of life, especially in light of all the recent conflicts between citizens and police officers.
Did you have any specific audience in mind when creating this ad?
We specifically targeted the ethnically diverse millennial demographic by populating the protest with a racial mixture of young people and displaying their talents and culture.
I disagree. I think that displaying their culture has the opposite effect that you intended. Instead of celebrating diversity, you're just stereotyping them. You show Asians as musicians, you show African Americans as breakdancers, and you show Muslim women as obediently wearing their hijabs. You aren't blending these diverse cultures, you're dividing them by stereotyping them into their traditional groups.
I agree with Frank here. It does seem like the races are being generalized. Furthermore, I also realize that the ad appealed excessively towards the values of social justice. I'm assuming that their goal was to show that Pepsi supports these protests. Frank, any comments about this?
Pepsi attempts to appeal to social justice advocates and their values, but as noted in the New York Times, the way they show protesters as lighthearted and upbeat in their ad trivializes the widespread protests. This insults the very demographic that they're trying to market to.
Thank you, Frank. Moving along, Jake, were you attempting to implement the bandwagon technique in your advertisement?
Yeah, we intended for the ad to impel viewers to join our cause. This is especially evident at the very end. When the viewers see a crowd of people walking towards them, they feel compelled to join the bandwagon. In fact, all throughout the ad, we had people on the sidewalks join in the protest. We wanted to create a sense of peer pressure for the viewers.
That is an interesting strategy. Moving on to another core technique. Frank, what do you think about including problem and solution in this advertisement? It seems likely that Pepsi is incorporated into the protest in an attempt to demonstrate how Pepsi is capable of setting aside differences and bringing people together.
I think it's a bad idea to implement a problem solution technique for such a serious and controversial topic. To even suggest that there's a simple solution to racial tensions, like purchasing a materialistic product, only demonstrates the insensitivity of Pepsi and can place Pepsi in a negative light, which results in the loss of customers.
That makes logical sense, Frank. It does put into perspective the feeling of many critics. Finally, let's address the elephant in the room. Kendall Jenner. Jake, why did you incorporate her into your ad? I'm sure there were several other candidates to choose from.
I know this may sound counterintuitive, but we chose Kendall Jenner because no one would expect her to participate in a protest. We wanted the viewers to feel that protests incorporate the entire community. Potential participants aren't just limited to activists or those of a specific race, but rather encompass everyone.
To me, including Kendall Jenner reduces the effectiveness of this advertisement. By choosing a candidate that is least affected by racial inequality, this ad fails to connect to its target audience. As stated by Stephen Colbert, host of The Late Show, the inclusion of Kendall Jenner and other good-looking actors trivializes Black Lives Matter by parodying it as Attractive Lives Matter.
I think our time is up. Thank you, Jake, and thank you, Frank, for joining us today. I hope our viewers have received many insights on the necessity of cultural awareness to prevent creating a potentially insulting ad. Good night.
Muy. Okay.
I think we need to re-record that
Muy porque.
because